What happens when a global superstar idolized by millions stops his car on a crowded street to kneel before a homeless woman whose name still echoes in his heart? The sun dipped low over Porto Alegre, casting a golden haze across the cracked sidewalks and faded storefronts. Cristiano Ronaldo gripped the steering wheel of his rented sedan, a plain grey car that blended into the hum of the city. No sleek sports car, no entourage, just him. A baseball cap pulled low, sunglasses hiding the eyes that billions recognized. He hadn't been back here in years, not since he was a scrawny kid kicking a worn soccer ball through these dusty streets, dreaming of stadiums and glory. The air smelled of grilled meat from street vendors, of exhaust, of memory. His chest tightened. Why was he here? Fame had taken him to Madrid, Manchester, Turin, but something pulled him back to this place, this city where he'd been nobody, just Chris, the boy with big dreams and bigger hunger. He drove slowly, past the chipped paint of his old apartment block, past the corner where he'd bought his first pair of cleats with saved-up coins. Nostalgia stung like a bruise. He wasn't sure what he was chasing, maybe a piece of himself he'd left behind. Hold up. If this story moves you, smash that like button, comment HOPE below, and subscribe to catch the surprise waiting at the video's close. The streets buzzed with life. Kids chased a deflated ball, laughing. An old man strummed a guitar outside a cafe, his fingers slow but sure. Ronaldo's lips twitched into a half smile. He remembered that sound, those evenings when he'd sit on a stoop, listening to music drift through the neighborhood. Back then, life was simple. Hard, but simple. No cameras, no headlines. Just him and her, Maria. The name hit him like a stray pass, unexpected and sharp. He hadn't thought of her in years, or so he told himself. But her face, those dark eyes, that shy smile, lingered in the corners of his mind, tucked away like an old photograph. They'd been 16, clumsy with love, stealing kisses by the river, promising forever in the way only teenagers do. She'd believed in him when he was nothing but ambition and sweat. Then he'd left, for Europe, for soccer, for a life that swallowed those promises whole. He shook his head, trying to dislodge the memory. That was a lifetime ago. He turned onto a narrow street, the market district, where stalls spilled with color, mangoes, woven bracelets, cheap sunglasses. People haggled, their voices a chaotic melody. Ronaldo parked, his hand still on the wheel, heart thudding. He didn't know why he'd stopped. Maybe he just needed to feel the ground beneath him, to walk where he'd once run. He stepped out, the cap low, his sneakers scuffing the pavement. The market pulsed around him. A woman shouted prices for her tomatoes. A kid darted past, clutching a stolen apple. Ronaldo's eyes scanned the crowd, not sure what he was looking for. Then he saw her. Across the street, under a tattered awning, a woman sat on a blanket, her hands arranging trinkets, beaded necklaces, chipped ceramic cups. Her hair was matted, her clothes worn thin. She looked older than she should, her face carved by time and hardship. But those eyes, dark, deep, like they held secrets too heavy to carry. His breath caught. It couldn't be. He stood frozen, the market's noise fading to a dull hum. His mind screamed it was impossible, but his heart knew better. Maria. The girl who'd laughed at his bad jokes, who'd waited for him after practice with a bottle of water she couldn't afford. The girl he'd loved before he knew what love meant. He took a step forward, then stopped. What if he was wrong? What if she didn't remember him? Worse, what if she did? His pulse raced, a mix of fear and guilt. He'd soared to heights most could only dream of, while she... How had she ended up here, on a dirty blanket selling scraps? He clenched his fists, nails biting his palms. The Cristiano Ronaldo the world knew didn't hesitate. He scored goals under pressure, faced defenders without flinching. But this was different. This was personal. This was the past reaching out, demanding to be seen. He crossed the street, dodging a bicycle, his eyes locked on her. She didn't look up, her fingers busy with a necklace, untangling its beads. Up close, the years showed cruelly. Her cheeks were hollow, her skin roughened by sun and struggle. Yet there was something in the way she moved, a quiet grace that tugged at him. He crouched in front of her stall, heart hammering. Maria? His voice was low, almost a whisper, afraid to break the moment. She froze, her hands stilling. Slowly, her eyes lifted, meeting his. For a second, they were blank, clouded by exhaustion. Then something flickered. Recognition, disbelief, pain. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Ronaldo pulled off his sunglasses, letting her see him, really see him. "It's me, Chris," he said, softer now, his throat tight. Her eyes widened, glistening with unshed tears. "Cristiano?" Her voice cracked, barely audible over the market's din. She shook her head, as if trying to wake from a dream. "No, you can't be here." She looked down, her hands trembling, clutching the necklace like a lifeline. Ronaldo's chest ached. He wanted to reach out, to pull her into his arms, to erase the years that had stolen her light. But he stayed still, giving her space, knowing she needed it. "I'm here," he said simply. "I saw you and I couldn't walk away." Her gaze darted to his face, searching, as if afraid he'd vanish. "Why?" she whispered. "Why now?" The question hung between them, heavy with unspoken history. Before he could answer, a voice cut through. "Hey, Maria, you okay?" A man approached, burly, with a stained apron and a wary look. Carlos, a vendor from the next stall, his face weathered but kind. Ronaldo tensed, but Carlos's eyes flicked to him, narrowing, then widening in shock. "Wait, Cristiano Ronaldo?" he hissed, low enough not to draw a crowd. Ronaldo gave a tight nod, silently pleading for discretion. Carlos glanced between them, reading the moment. "I'll keep folks away," he muttered, stepping back but staying close, a quiet guardian. Ronaldo turned back to Maria, who was staring at the ground, her shoulders hunched. "Maria, look at me," he said gently. She did, reluctantly, her eyes red. "I don't know what happened," he continued, "but I'm here now. Let me help." She laughed, a bitter sound that cut him. "Help? Cristiano, you're a superstar. I'm this." She gestured to her blanket, her ragged clothes. "You don't belong here." The words stung, but he leaned closer, his voice firm. "I belong wherever you are. You were my first everything, Maria. I haven't forgotten." Her breath hitched, and for a moment they were kids again, sitting by the river, planning a future they believed in. But the moment shattered as she pulled back, shaking her head. "You don't know me anymore," she said, her voice breaking. "I'm not that girl." Ronaldo's jaw tightened. He wanted to argue, to tell her she was still Maria, still the girl who'd made him feel invincible, but he saw the shame in her eyes, the weight of years he hadn't witnessed. Carlos lingered nearby, shooing away a curious kid with a quick word. Ronaldo glanced at him, grateful, then back at Maria. "Let me take you somewhere," he said. "Just to talk. No pressure." She hesitated, her fingers twisting the necklace until it snapped, beads scattering across the blanket. She gasped, scrambling to gather them, her movements frantic. Ronaldo knelt, picking up a bead, holding it out to her. Their fingers brushed, and she froze, her eyes meeting his again. "Please," he said, almost pleading. "One conversation." Maria's shoulders sagged, as if the fight had drained out of her. She nodded, barely perceptible, and Ronaldo felt a spark of hope. He helped her pack her trinkets, his hands careful, respecting her small world. Carlos watched, his expression softening. "She's had it rough," he murmured to Ronaldo. "Lost her job, her family, everything. Don't hurt her, man." Ronaldo nodded, the warning settling like a stone in his gut. He didn't know Maria's story, not yet, but he knew guilt. He'd left, chasing his dreams, while she'd stayed, facing hers alone. As they walked to his car, Maria clutching her bag, he caught snippets of her past from Carlos's quiet words. Her sister Anna had cut ties. Her dreams of teaching had crumbled under debt and despair. Ronaldo's throat burned. How had he not known? In the car, Maria sat rigid, staring out the window. The market faded behind them, its noise replaced by the hum of the engine. Ronaldo glanced at her, her profile sharp against the glass. "I used to think about you," he said, breaking the silence. Wonder where you were, what you were doing. She didn't respond, but her fingers tightened on her bag. I'm sorry, he added, the words heavy. For leaving. For not checking on you. Maria turned, her eyes fierce despite the tears. You had to go, Chris. You were meant for more. I didn't know how to keep up. Her voice softened, raw. Life got hard. I got weak. Ronaldo pulled into a quiet lot, away from prying eyes. He turned off the engine, the silence loud between them. You're not weak, he said, his voice steady. You're here. That's strength. Maria looked at him, really looked, and for the first time, he saw a flicker of the girl he'd loved. Vulnerable, but fierce. What do you want, Cristiano? She asked, her tone weary. To fix me? To feel better about yourself? The words hit like a tackle, but he didn't flinch. I want to know you again, he said honestly, and I want you to know you're not alone. She didn't answer, her gaze drifting to the dashboard, to the world beyond. Ronaldo waited, his heart a drumbeat, knowing this was only the beginning. He thought of Carlos, of Anna, of the life Maria had lived without him. He thought of the boy he'd been, promising her the stars, and the man he was now, with the means to give them, but only if she'd let him. Outside, Porto Alegre stretched on, a city of memories and second chances, waiting for them to decide what came next. Cristiano Ronaldo eased the sedan into a quiet street, the Porto Alegre skyline fading behind them. Maria sat beside him, her hands knotted in her lap, her tattered bag of trinkets at her feet. The silence was heavy, not uncomfortable but dense with unspoken questions. Ronaldo glanced at her, her face half lit by the streetlights, her eyes fixed on the passing city. She looked fragile, like a glass figurine cracked but still holding its shape. His chest ached with a mix of guilt and determination. He'd seen her on that blanket, selling scraps to survive, and it had shaken him to his core. The Cristiano the world knew, polished, unstoppable, a machine of goals and grit, felt small here, faced with a past he couldn't outrun. He didn't know how to fix this, but he knew he couldn't walk away. Not again. The car pulled into a gated complex, a discreet haven Ronaldo had bought years ago as a retreat from fame's glare. No paparazzi, no crowds, just a low-rise building with ivy-covered walls and a small courtyard. Maria stiffened as they parked, her fingers tightening on the bag. Where are we? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper, laced with suspicion. Ronaldo turned off the engine, his hands lingering on the wheel. Somewhere safe, he said softly. A place to rest, to talk. She glanced at him, her eyes sharp despite the exhaustion. I don't need your pity, Chris. Her words were a jab, but he heard the fear beneath them. It's not pity, he said, meeting her gaze. It's respect. You're still Maria to me. She looked away, her jaw tight, but didn't argue. He took that as a small victory. He led her inside, the apartment's clean lines and warm lighting a stark contrast to the street's chaos. The air smelled of cedar and fresh linen. Maria hesitated at the door, her sneakers scuffing the hardwood floor. She clutched her bag like a shield, her eyes darting over the leather sofa, the sleek kitchen, the framed photos of Ronaldo's career on the walls. Moments from Madrid, Manchester, Lisbon. This is yours? She asked, her voice small, but tinged with awe. Ronaldo nodded, setting his keys down. Yeah. I come here when I need to disappear. She gave a faint, bitter laugh. Must be nice, disappearing in style. He winced but didn't respond, sensing the weight of her words. She wasn't just talking about the apartment. He showed her to a guest room, simple but warm, with a bed piled with pillows and a window overlooking the courtyard. You can stay here, he said, as long as you need. Maria's shoulders stiffened and she shook her head. I don't belong here, Chris. I'm not clean enough for this. Her voice broke, and she looked down at her dirt-streaked hands, shame creeping into her posture. Ronaldo stepped closer, careful not to crowd her. You belong wherever I say you do, he said firmly, and I say you're home. Her eyes flicked to his, searching for a catch, but he held her gaze, steady and sure. Slowly, she nodded, though her hands still trembled. He left her to settle in, giving her space to breathe. In the kitchen, he dialed Dr. Laura, a psychologist he'd met through a charity event, known for her work with trauma survivors. Her voice was calm, professional. "I'll come tomorrow," she said. "No pressure, just a conversation." Ronaldo thanked her, then called a local clinic, arranging a discreet medical checkup. He wasn't sure what Maria had been through, but her hollow cheeks and tired eyes told him enough. He wanted her to feel safe, cared for, not like a project to be fixed. As he hung up, his phone buzzed. A text from Carlos, the vendor from the market. "She's been through hell, man. Don't push her. Let me know if you need me." Ronaldo's throat tightened. Carlos barely knew him, yet his loyalty to Maria was fierce, a reminder of the community Ronaldo had left behind. The next morning, Maria emerged from the guest room, her hair damp from a shower, wearing a clean sweatshirt and jeans Ronaldo had asked his assistant to deliver overnight. She looked different, still fragile, but less like she might shatter. "You didn't have to do this," she said, tugging at the sweatshirt's sleeve. Ronaldo shrugged, pouring coffee. "I wanted to. Hungry?" She hesitated, then nodded, sitting at the counter. He slid a plate of eggs and toast toward her, watching as she ate slowly, like she was relearning how to trust food. The silence wasn't awkward, but it was heavy, filled with the years between them. Then came a knock at the door. Maria froze, her fork halfway to her mouth. Ronaldo frowned, not expecting anyone. He opened the door to find a woman, maybe mid-30s, with Maria's dark eyes but a sharper edge. Anna, Maria's sister. Her arms were crossed, her expression a mix of anger and disbelief. "So it's true," Anna said, her voice clipped. "You're playing hero now, Ronaldo." Maria stood, her chair scraping the floor. "Anna?" Her voice was a mix of shock and dread. Ronaldo stepped aside, letting Anna in, but his jaw tightened. He hadn't expected this, not so soon. Anna strode in, her eyes locking on Maria. "You disappear for years, and now you're with him?" She spat, gesturing at Ronaldo. "What is this, some publicity stunt?" Maria flinched, her hands gripping the counter. "It's not like that," she whispered, but Anna wasn't listening. "You left us, Maria. Mom was sick. I was drowning in bills, and you just vanished." Her voice cracked, betraying hurt beneath the anger. Ronaldo stepped forward, his voice low but firm. "She's not your punching bag, Anna. Back off." Anna's eyes flashed, but she paused, sizing him up. "You don't know what she did," she said, quieter now. "You weren't here." Maria's face crumpled, tears spilling. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said, her voice raw. "I lost everything, Anna. My job, my home, myself." Anna's expression softened, just a fraction, but the tension hung thick. Ronaldo felt caught, wanting to protect Maria, but knowing this wasn't his fight. "Maybe you two should talk," he said, glancing at Maria. "I'll be outside." He stepped onto the balcony, giving them space, but his heart pounded. He hadn't expected Anna, hadn't realized how deep Maria's wounds ran. Not just from poverty, but from family, from betrayal. Through the glass, he watched them talk, Anna's gestures sharp, Maria's shoulders hunched. He couldn't hear the words, but he saw Maria's tears, Anna's clenched fists. His phone buzzed again, a photo circulating online, blurry but unmistakable. Him crouching by Maria's stall, his cap low, her face turned away. The caption read, "Ronaldo's secret charity." His stomach sank. The world was already watching, twisting this private moment into a spectacle. He texted Miguel, his old coach from Porto Alegre, a gruff man who'd shaped him as a kid. "Need advice. Media's sniffing around." Miguel's reply was quick. "Keep it real, Chris. Don't let the cameras ruin what you're doing." Ronaldo exhaled, grounding himself. Miguel was right. This wasn't about headlines. It was about Maria. Back inside, Anna was gone, leaving Maria sitting alone, her eyes red but calmer. "She hates me," Maria said, her voice hollow. Ronaldo sat across from her, leaning forward. "She's hurt. That's not the same." Maria shook her head. "I let her down, let everyone down." She paused, her fingers tracing the edge of her coffee mug. After you left, I tried to keep going. Worked at a school, teaching kids to read. I loved it. But then Dad got sick, Mom shut down, and the bills piled up. I borrowed money, lost the job, then the apartment. Anna thinks I chose to fall apart. Her voice cracked. I didn't. It just happened. Ronaldo listened, his heart heavy. He saw the girl who'd dreamed of shaping young minds, now buried under years of struggle. You're not broken, Maria, he said. You're still here. That's more than most could manage. She looked at him, her eyes searching, wanting to believe him, but afraid to. Why are you doing this, Chris? She asked again, softer now. You don't owe me anything. He leaned back, running a hand through his hair. Because you believed in me when I was just a kid with holes in my shoes. You gave me something real. I owe you that much. She didn't respond, but her eyes softened, a flicker of trust breaking through. That afternoon, Dr. Laura arrived, her presence calm and grounding. She spoke with Maria privately, her voice a steady hum through the closed door. Ronaldo paced the living room, feeling useless but hopeful. When Laura emerged, she gave him a nod. She's strong, but she needs time. Let her set the pace. Ronaldo nodded, grateful for the guidance. He wanted to do more, to fix everything now, but he knew healing wasn't a sprint. Later, he took Maria to a small community center he'd quietly funded years ago, a place for kids to play soccer and learn. The walls were bright with murals, the air filled with laughter. Maria's eyes lit up, a spark of the old her. You did this? She asked, watching kids kick a ball across a field. Ronaldo shrugged, a half smile tugging at his lips. Figured I owed this place something. Maria walked the grounds, her steps lighter, her fingers brushing the painted walls. I wanted to teach kids like this, she said, almost to herself. Give them what I never had. Ronaldo watched her, an idea forming. You still can, he said. There's a program here, for teachers. I can help you start. Her eyes widened, hope warring with doubt. Chris, I'm not ready. I'm a mess. He shook his head. You're not a mess. You're Maria. And I'm betting on you. For the first time, she smiled. A small, tentative thing, but real. It felt like a goal in stoppage time, a moment that changed everything. But then his phone buzzed again. More notifications, more photos. The world was closing in, and he knew the next days would test them both. Maria wasn't just fighting her past. She was stepping into his spotlight, whether she wanted to or not. And Ronaldo, for all his fame, wasn't sure he could shield her from it. The Porto Alegre sun hung low, painting the community center's field in shades of amber. Maria stood at the edge, her sneakers scuffing the grass, watching a group of kids chase a soccer ball with wild abandon. Their laughter echoed, sharp and free, a sound that tugged at her heart. She wore a new jacket, her hair tied back, her face cleaner than it had been in years, but her eyes held a quiet strength, like a spark rekindled after a long, dark night. Cristiano Ronaldo leaned against a fence nearby, his cap low, sunglasses hiding the intensity of his gaze. He watched her, not the kids, seeing the woman she was becoming, someone who'd clawed her way back from invisibility. The past weeks had been a slow climb, marked by small victories, Maria's first full night of sleep without nightmares, her hesitant steps into a teaching program, her growing ease in the community center's bright chaos. Ronaldo's chest swelled with something like pride, but deeper, more personal. This wasn't about him, yet it felt like his greatest win. Maria turned, catching his eye, and offered a small smile, a real one, not weighed down by shame. They're fearless, she said, nodding at the kids. Makes me wish I could borrow some of that. Ronaldo pushed off the fence, closing the distance. You've got more courage than all of them combined, he said, his voice low but sure. You're here, Maria. That's not nothing. Her smile faltered, but she didn't look away, holding his gaze like she was testing her own strength. I'm trying, she said softly. For them. For me. He nodded, knowing words couldn't capture the weight of her journey. She'd started volunteering at the center, mentoring women who, like her, had lost their footing, women with hollow eyes and guarded hearts. She understood them in ways books couldn't teach, her own scars a map to their pain. The center had become her anchor. Ronaldo had expanded its programs, quietly funneling money to add classes for adults, literacy, job skills, counseling. He'd named it Luz do Futuro, Light of the Future, a nod to Maria's old dream of teaching. She'd blushed when he told her, insisting it was too much, but he'd waved it off. It's not about you, he'd teased, though they both knew it was. Now she spent mornings helping women like Sophia, a young mother who'd fled an abusive home, her toddler clinging to her leg. Maria's patience with Sophia, gentle but firm, reminded Ronaldo of the girl who'd once tutored him in math, laughing when he fumbled fractions. That girl was still there, resurfacing bit by bit, but the world wasn't content to let their story stay quiet. Photos of Ronaldo at Maria's market stall had multiplied online, spawning headlines. Soccer star saves homeless ex. Ronaldo's redemption act. Some praised him, others sneered, calling it a PR stunt. The scrutiny stung, not for him, he was used to it, but for Maria. She'd seen the articles, her face tightening as she scrolled on a borrowed phone. "They think I'm your charity case," she'd said, her voice tight. Ronaldo had taken the phone, his jaw set. "Let them talk. They don't know you. They don't know us." She'd nodded, but the doubt lingered, a shadow he couldn't chase away. He'd called Miguel, his old coach, for advice. Miguel's voice crackled through the phone, gruff but warm. "You're doing right, Chris, but the world loves a circus. Keep her out of it." Ronaldo was trying, but the cameras were relentless. Today, though, the field felt like a sanctuary. No reporters, just kids and dust and the thwack of the ball. Maria joined Sophia on a bench, helping her fill out a job application while Sophia's son, Lucas, toddled nearby. Ronaldo watched, his heart a quiet drumbeat. He'd started to see Maria differently, not as the girl he'd loved, nor the woman he'd found broken, but as someone new, forging her own path. Their bond had shifted, less about romance and more about something deeper. Trust, maybe, or redemption. He wasn't sure what to call it, only that it mattered. A familiar voice broke his thoughts. "You're brooding, Chris." Miguel approached, his grey hair catching the light, his limp more pronounced from years coaching on bad knees. Ronaldo grinned, clapping his old coach on the shoulder. "Just thinking," he said. Miguel raised an eyebrow, glancing at Maria. "She's a fighter," he said. "Reminds me of you, back when you had nothing but hunger." Ronaldo nodded, his throat tight. Miguel had seen him at his rawest, a kid with dreams too big for his brittle world. Now, he saw Maria the same way. "She's getting there," Ronaldo said, "but it's not easy." Miguel snorted. "Nothing worth doing is. You're giving her a shot. That's enough." Before Ronaldo could reply, Anna appeared, her steps brisk, her face softer than the last time, when she'd stormed into the apartment, accusations flying. She'd been calling Maria daily, their conversations tense but thawing. Now she carried a bag of groceries, a peace offering. Maria looked up, surprised, and stood, brushing grass from her jeans. "Anna? What are you doing here?" Anna shrugged, a hint of a smile. "Figured you could use some real food, not that fancy stuff he buys." She jerked her head at Ronaldo, who raised his hands in mock surrender. Maria laughed, a small, genuine sound that made Ronaldo's chest lighten. Anna set the bag down, her eyes lingering on her sister. "You look better," she said, almost reluctant. Maria's smile was shy. "I'm trying." The sisters sat, unpacking the groceries, fresh bread, mangoes, a jar of homemade sauce. Ronaldo watched, giving them space, but Anna caught his eye. "You're not as bad as I thought," she said, her tone grudging. He smirked. "High praise." She rolled her eyes but didn't snap back, a sign of truce. Miguel chuckled, nudging Ronaldo. "Family's messy, huh?" Ronaldo nodded, thinking of his own, his mother's fierce love, his siblings' rivalries. He'd built a life of discipline, but family, like soccer, was unpredictable. As dusk settled, the kids cleared the field, and Maria led Sophia and Lucas inside for a literacy class. Ronaldo stayed outside, kicking a stray ball, the familiar rhythm grounding him. Miguel joined him, slower but game. You're not just helping her, Miguel said, panting after a weak shot. You're helping yourself. Ronaldo paused, the ball at his feet. What's that mean? Miguel shrugged. You've got everything, money, trophies, fame. But this is real. It's what lasts. Ronaldo didn't answer, but the words sank in. He'd spent years chasing records, but Maria's fight felt bigger, like a legacy beyond the pitch. Inside, Maria was reading to a small group, her voice steady, her face lit with purpose. Sofia listened, her pen scratching notes, while Lucas slept in her lap. Ronaldo stood at the door, unseen, his heart full. Maria wasn't just surviving, she was building something. Later, she found him on the field, the stars bright above. I wrote something, she said, pulling a folded paper from her pocket. Her hands shook, but her eyes were clear. Can I read it to you? He nodded, sitting on the grass, the night cool around them. She unfolded the paper, her voice soft but firm. Chris, you found me when I was lost, not just to the world but to myself. I thought I'd died inside, but you saw me, the girl I was, the woman I could be. I don't have much, but I have this. Thank you for giving me back my name. She paused, her eyes glistening. There's a poem, too. She read, her words simple but piercing, about rivers and scars, about light breaking through cracks. Ronaldo listened, his throat tight, her voice weaving a spell. When she finished, he didn't speak, just reached for her hand, squeezing gently. You're the strongest person I know, he said finally, meaning every word. She smiled, tucking the paper away. I'm not there yet, she said, but I'm closer. They sat in silence, the field a quiet witness. Ronaldo thought of their teenage promises, whispered under these same stars. Those promises had broken, but this moment felt like a new one, not of love but of partnership, of two people choosing to fight for something bigger than themselves. The next day, Maria started her teaching course, a local program Ronaldo had helped fund. She was nervous, her notebook clutched tight, but her steps were sure. Ronaldo drove her, the car filled with her quiet excitement. What if I mess up? She asked, half laughing. He glanced at her, smirking. Then you try again, like me on a bad day. She rolled her eyes, but her smile stayed. At the center, Sofia greeted her, Lucas waving shyly. Maria hugged them, her confidence growing. Ronaldo watched, a quiet pride settling in his chest. But the world kept pressing. A reporter cornered him outside the center. Mick thrust forward. Is it true you're helping a homeless woman? What's your angle, Ronaldo? His temper flared, but he thought of Maria, of her fragile trust. No comment, he said, pushing past. Later, he called a press contact, arranging a statement. I'm supporting a friend. Respect her privacy. It wasn't enough to stop the chatter, but it bought time. Maria saw the news, her face tight, but she squared her shoulders. Let them talk, she said, echoing his words. I'm not hiding anymore. Weeks passed, Maria's transformation deepening. She taught classes, mentored women, even reconnected with Ana, who started visiting the center, helping with meals. One evening, Miguel organized a community event, a soccer match for the kids, with food and music. Carlos showed up, his market stall closed for the night, his grin wide. Look at this place, he said, clapping Ronaldo's shoulder. You did good, man. Ronaldo shook his head. Maria did. She was across the field, laughing with Sofia, her face bright. Ana joined them, her arm around Maria, a rare softness in her eyes. As the match ended, Maria pulled Ronaldo aside, her expression serious. I want to start a group, she said, for women like me. To talk, to heal, to learn. Will you help? He nodded, no hesitation. Whatever you need. She smiled, fierce and determined. I'm calling it raíces, roots, because we all need to remember where we came from. Ronaldo's heart swelled. She wasn't just rebuilding, she was planting something new. That night, under the same stars, Ronaldo stood alone, the field quiet. He thought of his career, his records, his legacy. They mattered. But this, Maria's fight, the center's light, felt eternal. He wasn't her savior, nor she his redemption. They were two people, scarred and strong, choosing to lift each other up. And as Porto Alegre slept, Ronaldo knew this was only the beginning, a story of roots and wings, written not in headlines but in the quiet, stubborn hope of those who dare to start again. The story of Cristiano Ronaldo and Maria in Porto Alegre is more than a tale of a soccer star reconnecting with his past. It's a powerful reflection on humanity, second chances, and the enduring impact of compassion. As I watched their journey unfold across 3 chapters, I was struck by the raw emotion, the quiet resilience, and the universal truths woven into their story. It's a narrative that resonates deeply, offering lessons we can carry into our own lives, no matter where we stand. Below, I share my reflections on the story's impact and the practical takeaways it inspires, followed by a call to action for the video's audience. The first thing that hit me was Ronaldo's vulnerability. Here's a man who's conquered the world. Stadiums packed with fans, shelves heavy with trophies, a name synonymous with success. Yet, in Porto Alegre, he's just Chris, a guy haunted by nostalgia and guilt. Seeing Maria, his first love, reduced to selling trinkets on a dirty blanket, he doesn't turn away. That moment, when he crouches before her, heart pounding, unsure but determined, shows courage beyond the pitch. It reminds me that true strength isn't about invincibility. It's about facing the messy, painful parts of life head on. In my own life, I've dodged tough conversations or avoided reconnecting with people from my past, fearing what I might find. Ronaldo's choice to stay, to listen, challenges me to lean into those moments, to embrace discomfort if it means making a difference. Maria's journey, though, is the heart of the story. Her fall, from a dreamer with teaching ambitions to a woman invisible on the streets, is gut-wrenching. Yet, her resilience shines through. She's not a damsel waiting for rescue, she's a survivor who, with support, reclaims her voice. Her shame, her fear of being seen, feels achingly real. Who hasn't felt unworthy at some point, afraid to accept help because it means admitting weakness? Maria's slow transformation, volunteering, teaching, starting raízes, shows that healing isn't linear but possible. It's a lesson in patience, both with ourselves and others. I'm inspired to be kinder to my own setbacks, to see them not as failures, but as steps toward growth. It also pushes me to offer grace to those around me, recognizing everyone's fighting battles I can't see. The supporting characters, Ana, Miguel, Carlos, Sofia, add depth, showing how community shapes us. Ana's initial anger, rooted in hurt, mirrors family rifts many of us know too well. Her gradual reconciliation with Maria underscores the power of forgiveness, a hard but freeing act. Miguel's gruff wisdom and Carlos's quiet loyalty highlight the unsung heroes in our lives, those who show up without fanfare. Sophia, with her toddler and tentative hope, reflects the ripple effect of Maria's work. It's a reminder that our actions, big or small, touch others in ways we might never grasp. I'm motivated to nurture my own community, to be the friend who listens, the sibling who forgives, the stranger who offers a kind word. The story's tension with fame hit home too. Ronaldo's good deed becomes tabloid fodder, twisting his sincerity into a stunt. It's a stark commentary on our culture's obsession with spectacle, where even kindness gets scrutinized. Yet, Ronaldo stays focused, shielding Maria from the noise. This resilience against external judgment is a lesson in authenticity. In a world of social media likes and constant comparison, it's easy to let others' opinions steer us. Ronaldo's clarity, doing what's right, not what's applauded, pushes me to trust my values, to act with integrity even when no one's watching. What ties it all together is the theme of second chances. Ronaldo gives Maria one, but she earns it, rebuilding herself with grit and purpose. He too gets a chance to rewrite his past, not as the kid who left, but as the man who returned. This mutual redemption is beautiful, showing that helping others can heal us too. It's a call to action for my own life, to extend second chances to friends who've drifted, to colleagues who've stumbled, to myself when I fall short. It's about believing people can change, that hope isn't naive but necessary. Practically, I'm taking these lessons into my daily routine. First, I'll make time to reconnect with someone from my past, a friend, a relative, even a former colleague, checking in without judgment. A simple text could open a door. Second, I'll volunteer locally, maybe at a shelter or community center, offering skills or just presence. Maria's work with raízes shows how small acts build big change. Third, I'll practice patience with my goals, celebrating progress over perfection, inspired by Maria's slow but steady climb. Finally, I'll tune out the noise, social media, critics, self-doubt, and focus on what feels true, Ronaldo's story proves that real impact happens quietly, in the moments no one sees. This story isn't just inspiring, it's a mirror reflecting our capacity for empathy and growth. It challenges us to look at the Marias in our lives, the overlooked, the struggling, and ask how we can show up. It's a reminder that fame, money, or success don't define us. Our choices do. Ronaldo and Maria's journey is a testament to the power of seeing someone, really seeing them, and believing they're worth saving. Let's carry that into our world, making it a little brighter, one act of kindness at a time.